So our church is currently doing a 30 and 30 fast. And the fast is a bit of a different fast. Probably the first church type fast that I've done of this nature. And what you're supposed to do is the fast is from your cell phone. So you're supposed to not look at your cell phone for the last 30 minutes before you go to sleep at night and for the first 30 minutes after you wake up in the morning. And the idea is to spend that time with God instead. And you can be in the Word, you can be just talking to Him, whatever. So that's the idea. And I think it's supposed to be a 40-day fast. We started it maybe a week or two ago. And then the pastor restarted it, trying to get people to get on board, get on the bandwagon, and actually do this for real. And so I guess it might turn out to be more like 50 days or something. Anyway, so I have done a few different things with it, kind of seeing what's working, what's not working, etc. So initially, I kind of found, or I felt like it didn't really work that well in the evening, because in the evening usually I would either go to sleep quickly, or I would start to really think and get my mind going and not fall asleep for a while. And so usually I go to sleep listening to some YouTube video or something. And so this was kind of a substantial switch for me. However, since the restart, I am doing more of trying the at night thing more. Although I'm not being too. I'm kind of basing it probably a little bit on, like, if I go to sleep at 11 normally, and then I am basing my cutoff time for electronics basically at 10:30, and so something like that, right? So now 10:30, that's late enough that if I'm not doing something like actively on my phone, then there's a good chance that I may drift off pretty quick. So I'm sure I'm not getting a full half hour of wakefulness in the evening, but I am adhering to the general premise of getting off my phone before I go to sleep, basically. So earlier I had tried to, essentially, I would just take the time in the afternoon, whatever time I still needed for the day, whether it was whether I had gotten no time in the morning, I needed to do a full hour, or whether it was a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever that I needed for that night to get my basically total of an hour in. And then I would just take that time in the afternoon, maybe after lunch or something like that. And it was interesting. I mean, it was an interesting experience. I probably got more out of it in terms of actual prayer than what I'm doing now. So, but at the same time, I think there probably is something cool about the bookend of your day being not on your phone. Now, I will say that technically in the morning I am on my phone, because typically I will start listening to scripture to start my time off and just let it play. And if I doze in and out, whatever, it's just playing on, and I'm just kind of bathing in it, if you will. So that's kind of how that's going. I think that I'm probably getting to sleep a bit earlier, and that's probably good for my health. So is it really expanding, the quality of my time with God? I don't know if it's a dramatic difference. Partly because I was already often would listen to the Bible first thing in the morning before I get up anyway. So in some regards, it's not a lot different. It's maybe just longer, depending on how the situation is. And then in the evening, if I go to sleep fairly soon after I get off my phone, and then there again, it's maybe not making a huge difference. But who knows what goes on in the subconscious and in the supernatural overnight? So there may be more going on there than I realize. So anyway, kind of interesting fast. and something you might try to do. Pastor said, she actually had an addiction. She had an addiction to her phone, and so this is kind of a way to work on kind of breaking that addiction, or kind of getting back into master mode over your phone versus being in servant mode.